Let me ask you, what's the difference between this,
Do you see, you gods of sea and sky? I conquered Troy! Me, Odysseus!
this,
Well, you can't marry my wife.
this,
War is young men dying and old men talking. You know this.
this,
Your king is greedy.
There is no king. He sailed to Troy years ago. None of them came back.
and this? Well, we all know Odysseus is the ultimate tactician of the ancient world, but his screen portrayals tell us how the timeless words of the Iliad are processed and understood by the creatives of our time. Kirk Douglas plays him as a theatrical, booming force of nature, leaning heavily into exaggerated mannerisms that were a staple in the 1950s. While Amanda Sante retains that larger-than-life charisma, but with a feverish emotionality and terminal ego. His version is in a direct limbo with the gods. It's a thrilling ride that unashamedly balances the mythological with the mundane. The opposite of that would be a satirical Odysseus who is driven by the need to survive. That's where George Clooney's
Ulysses Everett McGill?
comes in. This is an adaptation, if I've ever seen one. So, what we get is no gods, some pretty darn good music, and a physically weak man who relies entirely on his silver tongue. That same wit and charm are fully present in Troy, Sean Bean's short but iconic portrayal. But Bean takes him on as a cunning, war-weary pragmatist who actually appreciates the historical scale of the Trojan War, a romantic appreciation that Ralph Fiennes completely strips away, leaving us with a brooding, traumatized king swallowed by the guilt of losing his men, the sons of Ithaca. This deconstructive narrative is a very 2020s postmodern view, so it's no wonder Matt Damon's Odysseus not only keeps the guilt theme, but goes further to drop Odysseus' traditional charm almost entirely. Matt Damon performs an emotionally detached all-action soldier, burdened by the backhanded way he won the war. Hey, I should apologize for dragging you through a geeky, needlessly thorough, mildly entertaining breakdown of each Odysseus, but in my defense, I have thoughts. When we talk about the cinematic portrayals of Odysseus, the most common gripe is that it deviates from Homer's original text. I get it. We want a direct, faithful translation of the poem. That is a valid expectation. But how I like to view the character is to look at what the adapted version is actually trying to achieve. This doesn't erase my criticism of the art, but it does help me give each version a fair shot, so that I can decide what resonates with me and what doesn't. I try to move past an objective checklist of events to a subjective look at the character's mind. For Odysseus, it's about that balance between his persona and shadow. Analytical psychologist Carl Jung once proposed that our persona is the social mask we wear to interact with the world, while our shadow is a hidden, primitive part of our mind driven by raw instinct and survival. Now, a 10-year war and a 10-year journey home might force a man to rely heavily on his shadow. How each director chooses to show that clash between the public king and the primal survivor tells you exactly what they think of Odysseus, and this can range from triumphant hero to broken man.
Nothing but death. This is the terrible heritage of man.
I accept that inheritance. This vulnerable mass of fears has dared to battle with a god, and has not yet been defeated.
Mario Camerini's Ulysses focuses completely on the persona. Douglas employs dramatic physical acting to deliver an idealized hero. You see a man who approaches danger with an unmistakable swagger. He is quick on his wit, fearless, and charismatic. Andrei Konchalovsky's 1997 miniseries keeps that charisma, but moves the focus to his mortal limitations and fatal pride. Odysseus is a man of the mind who constantly struggles to control his curiosity and massive ego. However, Konchalovsky doesn't shy away from exploring Odysseus's connection with the gods. This is an adaptation that fully believes its source material and is proud to share it with all sincerity. It has none of the modern cynicism we often get. I particularly found Asante's performance compelling. He nails the pride and charisma, yes, but he also comes off as genuinely passionate and caring. I really appreciate how connected to him we feel.
15 years. I've not seen my son. Am I home?
You lose much more than 5 years if you don't open your eyes and see what you are.
No! You! Open your eyes and you see who I am.
It's easy to root for him because we care about the things he cares about, like it is our own. His men, his son, his mom, Penelope, and even the goddess Athena. And the visual language supports this. Rather than framing him exclusively in heroic shots, the camera lets us in with lingering close-ups. It pushes in tight to capture his psychological agony, especially when he is trapped and desperately yearning for Penelope.
I would rather lie in my wife's arms for one moment as a man than to live forever without her.
The Coen brothers take a radically different route, placing George Clooney in a satirical setting. His Ulysses Everett McGill is laughably weak and cannot fight. All he really has going for him is his cunning and his ability to smooth talk. I find it interesting how they invert the core dynamic of the myth. In this version, Penelope actually rejects him and remains adamant about marrying a suitor. He has to scramble and scheme to win back a wife who wants nothing to do with him. The Ulysses we are familiar with lies in the difficult journey home with his two men. This version is comedic but nails its symbolism, and it's rich in subtext, something Wolfgang Petersen's Troy has an endless ocean of. We get to see Odysseus shine in high-stakes politics during the Trojan War. He is a complex man. On one hand, he sees the upsides to the war and allows himself enjoy using, quote,
The toys the gods give us?
On the other, his real goal is protecting Ithaca.
Ithaca cannot afford an enemy like Agamemnon.
Petersen makes a clear visual distinction between Odysseus's grounded intellect and the rest of the warriors. While Achilles is frequently shot with glowing golden hour backlighting to emphasize his divine status, Odysseus is shot in utilitarian mid-shots with naturalistic lighting. And Sean Bean brings this home with a measured performance that provides the perfect blend of dangerous wit, charm, and intellect. He relies on subtle delivery and rarely needs to raise his voice. Before we continue, if you like this video, do consider supporting my channel by becoming a member on Patreon or right here on YouTube. Copyright claims are becoming a bit of a nightmare for my content format, so doing this gives me some relief to continue making these essays. I'm currently close to my first 10 patrons, so I'd love to have you help me make that milestone. Thanks for listening, and I trust I'll see you in the Mindhouse. Now, let's get back to Odysseus.
This war will never be forgotten, nor will the heroes who fight in it.
Of course, this is a younger, pre-voyage Odysseus who is full of life and hunting for glory. A celebration of the attributes that make him a classic Greek hero. But if Troy explores Odysseus before the 10-year voyage back to Ithaca, the opposite of that would be Odysseus at homecoming. That's where Umberto Pasolini's The Return focuses explicitly. We get to see an older Odysseus who has to find a way to be king again. Unlike prior versions, Ralph Fiennes plays a man dealing with severe PTSD. His guilt comes directly from letting the people of Ithaca down by returning home without a single one of the men who left with him. The story zeroes in on Ithaca rotting away without its king and his heavy responsibility to its sons. Pasolini strips the romance entirely out of the epic. The landscapes are rendered in washed-out, dry sepia tones. Inside the medieval-style structures, Pasolini uses heavy, smoky chiaroscuro lighting. Fiennes is frequently swallowed by these deep shadows, visually demonstrating his struggle to reconnect with a past, possibly gone version of himself. But even a broken Odysseus retains a brooding charisma. He has an innate authority and an almost ethereal pull that elicits respect from the men who take him in. He also works quietly in the shadows, using his cunning to foil the suitor's plot to end his son's life. Interestingly enough, he remains incredibly strong. Because of course he does. He is a Greek hero after all. The film makes it a point to show his insanely good muscular form, even as an old man, during the scene where he strings the bow. Awesome. I couldn't help but pick up on the similarities between Pasolini's and Nolan's adaptations. There's a shared focus on guilt and PTSD, but Nolan tackles it slightly differently. Pasolini's is a solemn drama, while Nolan's is an action blockbuster. Matt Damon plays Odysseus as a very quiet, emotionally detached man. He lacks the charming wit of Bean and Clooney, the bravado of Douglas, and the depth of Fiennes. His guilt stems from his method of winning the Trojan War, and the film focuses heavily on the weight of his regrettable actions. The best way to summarize this Odysseus is that he is a show-don't-tell type character. His intellect is mostly shown through loud set pieces and action sequences. A standout for me was the siren song scene because it effectively showcases his hubris and his defiance against supernatural forces. He wants to hear the song because for Odysseus, curiosity didn't kill the cat. It gave it 9 lives. You see that same hubris play out with the Cyclops. After they finally get out of the cave, Odysseus shoots the blinded Cyclops again with his arrow. He thinks he can strike the beast down. But this action just plunges him and his men into a world of trouble as the Cyclops chases them into the sea. Odysseus is a simple soldier who acts out his defiance and deals with the fallout. Placing these two performances side by side, it's interesting to look at how the two actors approach similar themes. While Matt Damon gives a strong performance, I particularly found Fiennes compelling. With every line, every tired sway of his body, he adds a quiet grace to the character, an internal command that made me believe he has known nothing but this world. Hey, when you step back and look at all these versions, from the theatrical confidence of the 1950s to the heavy trauma narratives of modern cinema, whatever your sensibilities prefer, it's clear why we keep telling this story. Payoffs.
You know me now.
Odysseus.
At its core, Odysseus is the most human of all the Greek heroes. He is a man with a brain who went through hell and back. Literally. And the story? Odysseus' story does payoffs like none other, the kind we often crave in our own lives. Notice how in the different adaptations, none of the directors altered the ending in any significant way, even though in some versions it didn't necessarily fit in with the built-up themes. I suppose there is something deeply satisfying about watching a man find his way back home and take out the trash.
Is that it?
No, but I'll be in the Mind House if you care to join me.